Hi everyone, it's Chris. I'm going to do a quick and easy little tutorial today. My son just gave me this cute little chip cup because he knows I love Beauty and the Beast. And I decided if I keep things, they have to be usable. Well, instead of having them sit on the shelf collecting dust, decided to make them into a pincushion. Right now, he just holds basically my safety pins for when I quilt, so I put them through. But I decided I want to take and make a pin cushion to sit on top. As you can see, this little purple one that we all can get easily, way too small for this cup. He is just way too little. So I'm going to make a bigger one that'll sit on top. This is going to be a hand sewing project. I am not going to use a sewing machine. Reason being, it'll take me less than a minute to hand sew it, where it will take me twice as long if I were to go ahead and use my machine. What you're going to need for this project is going to be steel wool. This one has soap in it. The soap will actually clean off any of the sticky residue if you use fusibles or spray that. You do the spray basting with the sulky. This will help to wash your pens off. So I'm actually going to be using these. They're only $1. You can get them at the Dollar Tree. You can get them like I did at Walmart. I think Walmart, they were 89 cents when I got this. So they're readily available. They're about $1, give or take, where you live. I am going to be using a little hand sewing needle. Yes, it's really, really tiny because I like it tiny when I go through. I don't need a big one for me. A lid. Now, I've made this specific, well, not this project, but a similar project in the past, and I learned whatever the circumference is of your cup, you want double that for your cutout. So this one is almost 5 inches. This lid is 10 inches. So that'll give me just the right size to sit down in top of him. So whatever cup you're using, make sure you just literally put it down on a measuring surface. I have a cutting mat that I used. I just sat him down and looked, counted over, and it was 4. He was almost 5 inches. I did the same thing with my lid. So I needed 10 because he's almost 5 and I want it to fit nicely in there. The other thing you're going to need, and it took me a while to get up the nerve to grab some of these, but these are my skims. When you're quilting, you skim off just a little hair to line things up. When you're doing any sewing project, whether it's a quilt or clothing, you always end up skimming off just a hair bit of fabric. And that's exactly what I have here. Can I use this for other things? Absolutely. But I'm going to use it for this one. I sat there and I dreaded grabbing it because I want to use it for a few art projects, but I have 3 boxes of it. So I'm holding my breath. You're going to need something to use to cut with. I'm not sure which one I'm going to try first. If you're using scissors, you'll need a writing implement. If you're using a writing implement, I actually recommend you draw your project bigger and then cut inside of the circle. That way you can cut off whatever marking that you make. You can also use the air erasable markers or the iron out markers and pens. Use chalk, whatever you have. For filming, I grabbed the Sharpie because it's easier to see on camera. Now, I love Beauty and the Beast. I have since I was very, very little. So I can tell you the cartoon inside and out as well as the new movie inside and out. And I know that in both, Belle likes to play with the little birds. Well, when she's playing with the birds, it kind of gave me the idea that I'm inside of Chip, I'm going to put the little birds. Now, there is a part in the new movie that Chip is out there when Belle is playing with the birds, and there is in one of the Christmas cartoons, he's out there with her. So I thought it was fun. Spring. I bought this again, Walmart. I go there all the time. My son works there, so it's easy for me to go when I drop him off. It was only $1 for a fat quarter. This is rolled up. If you get a square one, you might have to iron it out in order to get it to lay flat, but I grabbed the round one because it was at hand. This is 2019 that I'm filming this. You may not have the spring collection later on, so get whatever matches your cup. If you don't have a chip cup and you're using, say, a regular coffee cup or teacup that you got from a thrift store, you can easily get fabric to match whatever you're doing. Like I said, this just matches mine. For the moment, so I don't lose my needle, I'm actually going to put it in my shirt because that's what I always do. And it's the only way I can always find it. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to move the camera down as I lay this guy out. Like I said, this will be short and easy, hopefully. And I'm just going to start by moving this out of the way and opening up my fabric. It does have a little bit of wrinkling in it from folds, but it doesn't matter really. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to flip to the wrong side because I rather cut on the wrong side. And I am going, it doesn't matter for this project if you use this salvage edge, which I do have a nice big salvage on there. It really doesn't matter for this project if you use it. I'm actually going to use it. This is not going through my washer. This is not going through a dryer. And my lid doesn't want to sit flat that way. So I will get as close to the edges as I can. I'm going to try the rotary cutter first. If not, I have enough fabric that I can go around. And if you do what I just did and you go off because you're just a little too close, that's fine. You can just fix it up later. It does not matter too much if it's a perfect circle. That's the good part about this project, is it's a flexible project. As you see, I'm just going in and trying to trim it out. And I think down here I need to. I've got the big piece off, except for one little thread. And then I'm going to use my template again and go in and around this last corner. Now, if you're not perfect, and I'm not being perfect, like I said, this will not matter much. I've made round bags that I've done this with, and I know for a fact that it's not a big deal if it's perfect or not. Now, I have my circle. You can see I still have little raw edges, uncut, little snips, little point here and there. It's not going to matter at all. It really won't. First thing I'm going to do is the steel wool. The steel wool's actually going to not only clean my needles, but it will also help to sharpen the needles. Now, what I am going to do is off of my fabric, and I don't care if I get it on the floor, is I'm pulling I'm going to pull these out just a little bit. Loosen them up just a hair. And I'm going to shake my fabric. I don't need all the soap in there. I am doing this off camera. I'm sorry, but I really need... I don't want to do exactly what I just did and get all the blue soapy on my nice pretty white fabric. If you're using a dark color, it won't matter as much. I don't want to do it on my light colored fabric, so I'm doing it on the floor that I can vacuum up later or sweep up. And last one. Now I got 3 little balls inside. Next part I'm going to do, and you can see how simple this is. Oh, soap's flying up in my face. Now, depending on how close you get with your cutting, I got this one little corner. I want to use this corner for something else, but I don't need that raw edge in there. So I can easily just make a cut. This other one's big enough to go into a quilt. And you see what's going to end up happening. I'm going to sew around, pulling it together. And as I pull it together, it's going to easily make a whole top. The one thing I forgot is you definitely will need thread. When I do the thread, I can easily... I'm one of the people a lot of people hate because I can thread this just like that. I don't need a lot of things to do it with, and I don't need to always kiss the thread. Kissing the thread is where you put it in your mouth and you wet it. For this specific project, I do recommend going ahead and doing it in half and doubled. And the reason I recommend that is because I'm going to be doing a gathering stitch, and I know this is going to be a usable piece. Now, to do this, like I said, it's just simple. In, out, in, out. I have the knot inside. Now, if you wanted to, you could fold it over and do it. Again, it's going to be underneath. I'm not going to see it that often. Only when I need to go and grab those stick pins, so it doesn't bother me. But if you decide 2 steps into it you want to fold, go ahead and fold. That'll tuck under. And I can still do it with a little fold in her. You see, I'm just going in and out, in and out, in and out. Every little bit I'll go ahead and pull my thread through. The stitch size does not matter on this. I do smaller stitches for the sake of how it's going to bunch up, but I don't do extremely tiny. These are probably about 1/2 inch stitches that are going through. Now you can leave it like this if you want. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm going to take a little more fabric, and I'm going to go really quickly to do this. Not even doing a circle. A little piece of fabric. Lay it over the top. Pull that nice and tight again. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in, nip this just a couple times. And this is just random, just to hold the little skims in. I am using a matching thread so that it is not visible. See if I can get her up. And if you have trouble doing hand needlework, there are tons of products out there now that would make this a lot easier. Needs to be fastened just a little more. I think I started at the yellow chicks, so I should be good. Coming out here. And to finish him off, I'm actually going to go inside. Grab a pinch inside. I'm going to grab a little curl here, go in right where I did, where my thread's coming up. Keep my thumb in there to make that loop. I'm going to come up, pull, nice and tight. And then I'm going to repeat it one more time. Keep your thumb in your thread. It makes a nice little loop. Pull the needle through. And then, just to hide this really well, I will actually push it all the way through to the back side, or the right side I should say. Pull it up. Push the fabric down, do a cut, and then the thread disappears completely. So this is just a quick little project. You can see sits nicely right there on top of Chip, and it will make a nice way to sharpen and clean all of my pins. So, and I actually just had to buy new pins as well. And put a couple of the big ones in. You see that got nice and sharp because I'm hitting that steel wool. I'd like to thank you for joining me in this little tutorial. I hope you like it. If you did, hit that thumbs up. hit the subscribe button to see what else I come up with, and hit me over on Facebook for all kinds of giveaways and different projects. You can share any of the videos that you see, any of the tutorials, and you make them at home. I love to see them. So go ahead and hit the Facebook page and share, leave your comments, and for now, I will see you next time.